I think it's why I love America. I met most incredible people here. They were just, wow, very nice.
Sveta Yakubovich was born in what used to be known as Gorky, Russia. She's always had a strong work ethic, but says there really wasn't much opportunity there for her.
The only difference is, in Russia, if you work hard, it wouldn't take you anywhere. And here, if you work hard, it will take you places.
Yet in Russia, Sveta was an accomplished swimmer, and she attended college, where she got a degree to become a physical education teacher. 5 family members, including Sveta's husband Simon and her mother, decided to come to America in 1993. Sveta's aunt had come here 2 years earlier.
I moved here with my whole family. Our son was 6 months, my mom, my grandfather was 86, so we kind of immigrated, all of us. And my brother and my father stayed in Russia and was supposed to come next year.
Sadly, her father died before that could happen.
He never made it here. He died 5 days before he was supposed to come.
Although she studied to be a physical education teacher as her profession, Sveta said massage was really what her heart told her to do.
I always loved it. It was kind of my hobby. I took classes when I was in college. We studied that as one of the classes, but I took classes on the side also.
So when she got to America, Sveta set out to find a place that would let her give massages. When starting a new career, she had a few more obstacles to overcome than most of us do.
So when you moved here, did you speak English at all?
Not really, no. I didn't even recognize the words.
Despite her lack of English skills, she was hired to give massages at the Wichita Racket Club. Another employee helped Sveta figure out how to communicate with her clients.
She wrote for me on a piece of paper, what am I supposed to say to the client? So I was standing up front of a mirror and practicing 100 times. I remember that phrase, please turn over and slide down so your back head on the table. And I'm still using that phrase because I needed to make sure that I knew at least how to say for people to undress and get on the table. I would practice it so much, I would basically say it 100 times. People were like, oh, your English is good. And I'm thinking, it's the only phrase I know.
But it wasn't the only phrase she knew for very long.
Clients who would make me bring piece of paper and pen in a room and would make me write new words. So in the next week they would come back and make sure I remember the words. So really my clients kind of taught me English. It was just incredible. I think it's why I love America. I met most incredible people here. They were just, wow, very nice.
But Sveta wanted to learn more. Soon after that, she got a Pell Grant and started taking classes at WSU.
I was like, why is anybody in this country poor? If you can go to school and they pay you money. And I was very, very surprised that why is not everybody go to school here? Because if you don't have money, government gives you money. So it's very, very strange for me.
As if college classes aren't hard enough, imagine taking them in a language that you don't speak all that well. That didn't even seem to faze her.
And classes was not hard too. Like, I think it was a game. It was just you had to do homework. It was pretty simple to get B's and A's. So that was great for my self-esteem too. I thought, wow, without even English, I can get B and A. And again, and some people was flunking the classes, which I really didn't understand. I think that's a huge difference. In Russia, when you grow up, you just know from early age, life is hard. And here, people, seems for me, they think life's supposed to be so easy and everything happens and everybody gives you things. And that's, I think, the biggest difference.
So you think having that background
helped me a lot. So I would have customer would call me and say, I can only come 6:30 in the morning. And I would like, oh, it's the best time. Absolutely, it would work perfect for me. Or like 8 o'clock at night. And it was kind of given. I would work, really do massages from 6:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night because it's what you do to get clientele.
And that earned her a very loyal clientele. Jerry McLean has been coming to Sveta for more than 10 years.
This girl volunteered to meet me down here 5:30 in the morning, some mornings 6:30 in the morning, other days, before her day started and before my day started, to help me with gaining my range of motion back. It was a shoulder injury.
Her dedication made a huge difference in his life.
I'm a dentist. Dentists chronically have back and neck problems, and I went through some really hard times. I almost had to quit practice. And she most likely extended my career for 5 years.
Don Barry has been a client for about 13 years.
The one thing that I believe Sveta has is a voracious appetite for trying to figure out what the best practices are.
In 2000, Sveta decided to go off on her own and opened Sveta's Body Therapy.
Even though it was easier in America, still it's not really easy to open a business. Did you have difficulties?
I mean, it wasn't even easy, but I think I expected to work really hard.
And work hard she did.
America literally is the land of opportunity, and here's a modern day example of that.
Okay, so I was moving kids, and when you wake
What
up
gives
in
you
the
the
morning,
drive to succeed? What inside of you?
I think it's more see what you can do. It's challenge. I think anything I do, it's more I need to prove to myself that I can do it. So it's not even about money. It's more about can I do it or not. Dress from the waist up and take off your shoes and lay on a table face down under this linen.
Sveta is constantly taking on new challenges. She graduated from the Kansas School of Chinese Medicine so she could offer acupuncture to her clients. Sveta has had a lot of success, and like most successful people, she says she didn't achieve it alone.
My husband, he is absolute saint. I mean, he cleans, he cooks most of the time. He's like saint.
Well, marriage, business, and family, it's all takes two to make it work. I mean, she's in the front of the scene, I'm behind the scene.
I have a great husband and my mom, and I think my mom has the exact same, not even work ethic, but expectations, and she is great help for us. I would call her, Mom, can you please come and babysit? She's like, okay, I'll be there like in 5-10 minutes. I think there's always behind somebody successful is a family who is incredibly supportive.
And Sveta says she had a great role model too, George Laham.
I think now I see how much, like, again, my landlord helped me with like his subtle advices. Like, I think throughout the years I realized how much he helped me. I mean, he was almost, I think, like my business mentor, kind of, because with like my husband says, he's my crying wall. Every time I have a problem, I go to him and he helps me with advice.
So, what was the best advice she was ever given?
You can hire people to do things you're not good at. And I was like, that's really, it's like you don't think that you have to do everything. And I thought it's incredible. It's really true. Now I can understand how correct he is.
Through the years, though, you make mistakes, too, in opening a company. You don't do everything right the first time. What are some things, I know, surprise, I bet you're close to perfect, but what would you do differently? Are there any things you would go back and say, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have done that?
I don't know. I think everything worked out good. I think it's kind of worked out all at the end. And I think if I would have do it differently, maybe it wouldn't work out as well as it did.
In 2002, Sveta opened a second location in the Genesis Health Club on Rock Road. Sveta has some advice for anyone who's thinking about starting their own business.
Don't give up, I think, kind of. And see, I think I expect good things to happen, maybe, in a way. I go for it. If I decide to do something, I just go for it and I do it. And I think I make it work, kind of. If things wouldn't work out, what's the worst thing that could happen? And usually I think, okay, I can live with that, so it's, I would do it.
And she believes giving back helps too. She donates to all kinds of charities.
If somebody comes here, or if it's a great cause, and it's like more, why not?
With all that she's achieved, do you think she'd have a hard time picking out what means the very most to her?
You've accomplished a lot. The business is successful. You've got a great family. You've got all sorts of great things. But what is your greatest accomplishment?
My son. He is such an incredible person. And I'm thinking, except sometimes I feel like I had nothing to do with that, but maybe I did. And he is like incredible. He's very, very, he's mature, he's wise. He's like wiser than me, way wiser. So he's, I think, incredible. My husband, I mean, my little baby now, who is 4 years old.
Just incredible person with great personality and absolutely wonderful wife and mother.
If you would have stayed in Russia, what would have happened to you?
And one of the reasons we left, I think, because I was a teacher, I was working full time, and my salary was about equivalent to $2 a month. So really, I mean, it was $2 there was more than like $2 here, but still, I could probably buy one shoe, maybe not even one, on the whole salary. And I thought in America, I kind of thought that maybe being average person, you could at least make average living. I thought like anybody here kind of had more chance.
With all she's experienced, Sveta has a wonderful perspective on things. She sees things that most of us take for granted.
Because this country is perfect, as good as it gets, really. It's a best place to live, I think.